I'm Kev.
And I'm Steve.
And we're from the internet.
Want to get every episode of We're From The Internet at least a day earlier than the iTunes and Stitcher folk? Head over to we'refromtheinternet.com/pledge to support us on Patreon, and as well as early access, we'll throw in an exclusive weekly show just for our patrons too.
Hi Kev, hi Steve. If you were given Sepp Blatter's job, how would you reform FIFA?
Doesn't have a job anymore, does he? So what job are we being given? Retired man. I don't think I'd have. If I was given, if I was given Sepp Blatter's job now, I wouldn't have much choice in how to reform FIFA, because everything I'd suggest, they'd just tell me to stop bribing people.
Nah, the person you're speaking to would just push your face back into the pillow and say, "Keep biting on that for another year."
How would you reform FIFA? Why don't they just give up and just make UEFA in charge? They're better, aren't they?
I would bloody say, what are we actually doing? The rules of football have been the same for quite a long time. We're here. The World Cup's going to be where it makes the most sense, not who just gives us the most pride.
Yeah, see, that bit confuses me. How has it taken, 4, 5 years to get to the point when they've realised they're all corrupt? Surely, the moment they gave the World Cup to Qatar, that just set off alarm bells, didn't it?
Well, I imagine it did. That's why it's taken 3.5 years of investigations.
Well, they should have just said then, no. Gary Lineker should have stepped in at that point and said, no, that's not happening. We're not going to do that, because he's in charge, isn't he? We'll have it in Leeds instead.
Well, the thing is, I know they can't just keep having it in England over and over and over again, but they could just have it in They
could have it here a second time, like they have all the other major
They could have
countries.
a rule where they're just basically saying, at the moment, there's got to be at least 20 countries in the world who are capable of hosting it properly.
I wouldn't say 20. I would say,
I think England,
if you
France,
discount the ones,
Italy,
if you discount the ones who've had it recently, so they've just built new stuff. Yeah, but they've just had it.
Yeah, no, I know. America.
Who've just had one recently.
No, Australia.
They're not capable of doing it.
France.
Australia aren't having
France.
Stadiums,
Japan.
They've not. They've done it recently and had to share Korea at the time.
The point I'm making is, if you can come up with 20 countries that could host it, then just doing them in a cycle and adding in people once they meet, let's just set a bar and say this is the minimum requirement for you being considered. If you want to get to it, and then use the money made from it to obviously do some grassroots stuff in all the other countries. Like Africa could do it now because they've had all the input, but
you couldn't host it as a continent, surely.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that now Africa could be part of that 20 as well.
South Africa have done one, haven't they?
Yes, I mean, South Africa can do it, so they're another one on the list. But if Qatar decided, we want to run it, then you say to them, well, all right, then come to us when you've got everything in place, and we'll look at your kind of history, and hang on a minute, 100,000 people died making that. No, you're all right, thank you. We should have probably put a stop to that earlier on, but we've been turning a blind eye to it. That's what they're doing at the moment. But I just don't see why you'd want it anywhere else. I get that they think it's great to take it to different places.
Money, that's why they want it anyway.
Of course, but
not just the bribes either. The fact that there's lots of money just swimming around there, the advertising, it would have been spectacular amounts of money. But I'm assuming it's now not going to be there.
I don't get it, because, wouldn't it, as a commercial thing, wouldn't it make more money somewhere like England that has all the rail infrastructure and all the travel and everyone can get there and they're not going to get malaria or die in the desert?
It makes more money for England, but it makes more money for FIFA if it's somewhere where
they can just abuse them.
They ship it all in themselves. They bring in their own burger vans and whatnot. Whereas here, there's probably 10, 12 stadiums that it'll be at spread across the country. They've already got all the infrastructure around them. You can't even put your own car parks in place because people have got their bits of wasteland that they already charge people £10 to park on a match
That's
day.
bad. I remember actually you couldn't sell maps of vuvuzelas because they had the FIFA.
The most upset about all this FIFA nonsense, and I haven't seen if it's come up in the media yet, but Plymouth Argyle should be absolutely devastated about this, because it basically ruined their club and put them almost out of business, because when we were going for the World Cup bid, because they were down there in the southwest and there was no one else around, they put a whole business plan in place, and the whole 10-year plan for the club was how they were going to build a stadium capable of being in the World Cup. They invested money in it. England didn't get the World Cup, and basically their gamble didn't pay off and they were ruined. And
Why would you gamble on that? Because we weren't even favourites for it.
Yeah, but we should have been. If it had been done on the strength of the bids, it would have come here. But instead, it went to the two that spent the most money on it. But I guess the FA didn't want to pay the bribes, which is why they were never properly considered. But it's been 60 years since there's been a World Cup here.
I mean, hopefully
it's the biggest, most lucrative league in the world, and there's not been a World Cup here for 60 years.
If they can, because Russia might not host it either at this rate.
I imagine Russia still will.
But the whole world hates them.
Yeah, but they've got...
America would love a reason to say, well, we're not going there, and we'd follow whatever they did. And it'd be in our interest, because if they say, well, look, we're not holding it there, it's only in now for many years, we'll have to move it and we can hold it tomorrow.
Then it has to go to England, Spain, Italy or Germany.
Exactly, and then it'll just come to us because we'll say to the others, hands off.
Or just host it as Europe. That could be UEFA's big power play. Say, right, it's not going to be in Russia, we're going to use all the top stadiums in Europe.
That's another option that they could have just done, is circulate different continents, have an Asia one, an Australia one, an Antarctic one. I mean,
are they all the continents you know?
No, South America, North America, and what are the other ones I've missed out? Europe,
Say
Africa.
Asia and Africa.
I said Asia.
Did you?
I didn't say Africa, but I was
What
getting
about the moon?
But that could be, once they've done because there's 7 continents, isn't there?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I'm not a weatherman.
That's 28 years worth of them, so we're saying we've got 32 years to build enough stadiums on the moon that we could do it there, and that could be like the 32-year anniversary of us taking over FIFA.
So, reforming FIFA. My idea is just scrap them all together and let UEFA take over, because they don't balls up the Champions League. They seem to know what they're doing.
But then, by creating the Champions League, they ballsed up everybody else's leagues and ruined the Europa League. And just made it all a bit silly. They should just have a Champions League for the first place finish of every country.
So, how do you fix FIFA then? What do you do?
You don't need to have these massive organisations of either.
Someone needs to organise a World Cup.
But how hard is that? You just have
pretty hard, by the sounds
a little
of it.
office load of people that just say, right, we're going to pick this continent this year. So what's your plan, South America? And they've just had it, and they just tell us what they're going to do. If they don't have a plan in place, you go to the next one. They're coming to you with their big pitch. You just pick the coolest one out of the lot.
Next question. With the name FIFA being so sullied...
What about the game, yeah?
What about the game? Is it like when Tiger Woods went through his problems, the EA golf game isn't called Tiger Woods Golf anymore now? So are EA just going to release EA Football next year? Or is FIFA, the name, so ingrained with people that you can't take FIFA off the football game, can you? Could you call it anything else to get away with it?
It'd be a big marketing thing, wouldn't it? If they said, right, we're not calling it that this year, it'd be all over the news. They'd probably get record sales out of that, because people would be reminded so much about it. And
I imagine that's the sort of thing UEFA steps straight in at. And yeah, it's called UEFA 16 now. Forget
UEFA's
FIFA.
a crap name, isn't it?
Well, so's FIFA, though. They're all stupid.
Yeah, but...
Why don't we name it after us?
Well, if we were in charge,
we could make our own football game.
But it's like the UEFA Cup was Europa League. That seems silly if they're the top people. If it's like a FIFA Cup, you'd expect that to be the top one, but the Champions League is the top one. Just all seems a bit mental.
A bit mental. So, what are we doing? Scrapping the whole thing?
Well, I'm saying we do continental only. So the whole continent, the whole area bands together and has games, and it's just a bit of flying around, and everyone gets a bit of a look in.
How do you decide where the final is? Toss of a coin? I mean, in Europe, if it's a Europe-wide World Cup, so many countries that could say, we've got the best stadium, we'll have the final.
And they just weigh it up, didn't you? Capacity, probably.
Well, then...
Barcelona.
Every time it comes round to Europe, it goes back to Spain for the final?
Wow.
Seems a little unfair.
Yeah. Throw a dart at a map, closest stadium wins.
And the map lands on Peterborough, and we have the final at London Road. And FIFA step in and pay for the redevelopment of the ground.
£100,000.
Problem solved. Want to help us spread the We're From the Internet word? Leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and Stitcher would give us a nice little boost in the search results and help new listeners find us.